So we just did the pastor's evaluation for PPR, right? So that was the best time to make a mistake. Service orders. Vicky mailed that out the other day. So for him to take up the offering wasn't going to get on that. So by next year, maybe we'll forget about this one. And so I invite you to turn to Revelation 12. You can read verses 1 through 17. That's all of it. And so a great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven. An enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his heads. His tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that he might devour her child the moment it was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule the nations with an iron scepter. And her child was snatched up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the desert to a place prepared for her by God, where she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, the ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "Now have come the salvation and power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ. For the accuser of our brothers who accuses them before our God day and night has been hurled down. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows that his time is short." When the dragon saw that he had been hurled to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she might fly to a place prepared for her in the desert, where she would be taken care of for a time, times, and half a time, out of the serpent's reach. Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with a torrent. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth and swallowing the river that the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. Then the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to make war against the rest of her offspring, those who obey God's commandments and hold to the testimony of Jesus. And the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. I'm not sure if you've ever seen the beginning of a boxing match. When the announcer stands in the center of the ring and announces each boxer one at a time, he goes through all their credentials, from their height and weight to their hometown to their record, the entire line, each fighter. And it often sounds like this: in this corner, and he goes on and on and on, and then they rumble and they do what they do. And that's what's happening here in Revelation 12. John is seeing this ongoing spiritual battle between God's people and the forces of evil, and he's trying to convey to his readers what it means for them. And as the chapter begins, John sees a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. Now she's pregnant, and she cries out in pain as she's about to give birth, because that's fitting for Mother's Day. So you're giving birth, because you've all been born. I told you that once before. I can tell. You've all been born. That's the one thing I know that we all have in common. We've been born. But this can be confusing because the sun is not typically used for clothing, and the moon would be a very difficult thing to put under your feet. But God isn't trying to tell us what somebody is wearing. The 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel, and God is sending his son into the world to do something powerful. And he's doing so through a woman. Jesus needed a mother. But there was opposition. In the other corner is an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his head. Okay, so this thing's smart, it's powerful, and it's kingly. And his tail sweeps a third of the stars out of the sky, flings them to the earth, and the dragon is opposing the woman, so as to devour the child the moment it's born. Now we all know how Jesus was born. His mother was a virgin, pledged to be married, and she was with child with the power of the Holy Spirit. And when she gave birth, what's the first thing that almost happened to Jesus when he was born? Herod tried to kill him, to the point where he had every baby in Bethlehem killed, just trying to get one. And he missed. But God rescued the woman and her child. And this child will rule the nations with an iron scepter. Hopefully that doesn't come as a great shock, but the child here is Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, who Joseph and Mary took to Egypt to avoid Herod. And it's amazing they went back to Egypt, because Egypt represents for them slavery and bondage and just bad things. But they went back to Egypt to retrace their steps. And later, when Jesus would be raised from the dead, he was taken up to heaven. And in verse 5, John says he was snatched up to God into his throne. And if you can imagine, there's different ways you can say that, but when John says he was snatched, in other words, God's like, I'm getting him out of here. God rescued Jesus from the dead. So while Herod's efforts failed to kill Jesus, Satan did eventually move in the lives of certain other people and managed to have Jesus killed, but we all know what happened 3 days later, right? God raised Jesus from the dead, and he snatched him. He snatched him. You know, to snatch it literally means to forcefully take something that belonged to somebody else. Death had a hold of Jesus. He was dead. And God said, no, not anymore. Satan still came away the loser. And then he takes us back to verse 7. Back to the war in heaven, where Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon's angels fought back. And Satan came away the loser there too. He was hurled to the earth. And John does his best to describe to us and who this serpent is. The ancient serpent called the devil or Satan. A very clear reference. The serpent is a very clear reference to the Garden of Eden. When the serpent is who tempted Adam and Eve, this serpent is hurled to the earth and his angels with him, and he leads the whole world astray. Look around. It started with Adam and Eve. And I say Satan and his angels are still doing a pretty good job of leading the world astray. And to the point where, I don't know about you, but it makes me sick at how far astray some people have gone. And some of the stupid things people say. But in verse 10, John hears a loud voice in heaven say something awesome. He says, Now have come the salvation and power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ. Now, salvation has come. That's good stuff. It says salvation has come. The accuser has been hurled down. Satan, who was once an angelic being in heaven, he was there, was hurled down to the earth. He lost the battle in heaven. And now, because of what Jesus has done, he's lost the battle here too. And now this is the awesome part for us. We can overcome. But we can't pretend there's no battle. There's a war in the church. There's a war that we must wage and we must win. We can't sit on the sidelines and hope somebody else will fight for us and just kind of hang on until Jesus comes back. You know, I skipped verse 11 for now, but I'll get back to it in a minute. Because it says, therefore, in verse 12, therefore those in heaven can rejoice. Those that are in heaven can rejoice. Because, what's that? So what does Tony just say? No more crying there, no more dying there. That's really good stuff. But God, but woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He's filled with fury because he knows his time is short. When Satan realizes what happened to him, he's no longer where he was, but he's here. He seeks to make war against the woman and her son. See, Jesus needed them all. But Satan he's kind of relentless. He's going to come after the woman and her son. But God rescues his son. And finally, Satan goes to make war against the rest of her offspring. Now listen to who these folks are. Those who obey God's commandments and hold to the testimony of Jesus. I sure hope that's us. We're trying to hold the testimony of Jesus. And we certainly try to obey God's commands. The end of verse 17 spills over into 13 a little bit, but tells us that the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. Now next week we'll look at the beasts, or at least one of them. But Satan is making war against God's faithful people, those who obey and hold to the testimony of Jesus. Now I told you I'd come back to verse 11, and here we go. It's one of my favorite verses, but it's a tough one. Because listen to how they overcame him. They overcame him being Satan, by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. It's a great verse because it's how we overcome. The blood of the Lamb. The blood of the Lamb. We got all kind of great songs we sing about the blood of the Lamb, don't we? It's just great to sing about. It's great to think about. The blood of Christ saves us from our sin. And because of this, we have a testimony. If you're a believer in Jesus Christ, you have a testimony. You have a story that you can tell about what God has done for you. He took you from where you were and redeemed you and made you his own. And you have a story. And we overcome when Jesus' story becomes our story. Because you can tell stories all day long. Lots of people tell lots of stories. But when Jesus becomes not just a part of your story, but your story gets plugged into Jesus' story. And then who I am doesn't matter. Who Jesus is all that matters. And that's the tough part. The next line, it says, they didn't love their lives so much as estranged from death. You see, the problem we have in the world today is too many people think way too highly of themselves. We love our lives too much. But to the expression that I think I made this up. I actually don't think I heard this somewhere. This is mine. And you can have it. It's an exaggerated sense of self-importance. A very exaggerated sense of self-importance. And somehow the world needs me, or it's going to come to a screeching halt. And it leads people to do all kinds of things to try to draw attention to who? Themselves. Look at me, look at me. And there are all kinds of tools and apparatuses out there that are making it easier and easier for people to say, look at me, look at me. But who are we supposed to be pointing people to? Us? Or look at Jesus? Don't look at me. I'll let you down. Look at Jesus. He will never let you down. You see, Satan's goal is simply to get us to take our eyes off of Jesus. That's all he has to do. He's waging war to get us to take our eyes off of Jesus. And he knows his time is limited. He knows Jesus is coming back. And he knows that when that happens, game's over. He's done. And that's why it looks the way it does when you look around. So many people are trying to, whatever it is, make a name for themselves, become famous. It's incredible how much evil there is in the world. And it's incredible how relentless evil people are bent on only evil. Remember in Noah's day, it said that the hearts of men were only evil all the time. Those are extreme words, only evil all the time. We can overcome. Okay? We don't have to get sucked into that. We can live more because Jesus already did. What happened on the cross needs to become real in our lives. That's our participation in this story. When we say we believe in Jesus, we are proclaiming that we are his. But it also makes that's supposed to put a giant target on our back. I can tell you, I don't enjoy having a target on my back, but it goes with the territory. Because Satan has declared war on those who obey God's commands and hold to the testimony of Jesus Christ. If you plug your life into Jesus, and his story is your story, Satan doesn't like you. But I got good news for you. We're going to win. Not because we're cocky or arrogant, or because we say we're going to win, but because we're going to overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. We aren't going to love our lives so much as restrain from death. I'm not more important than Jesus. I'm not more important than you. And you're not more important than me. We're all in Christ. And that's huge. And that's huge. Let's pray. Father God, help us, Lord, to overcome. Lord, not in our own strength, not because of anything that we've done, but by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Because your story is our story. Doesn't matter who I am, or doesn't matter who we are, doesn't matter who Plum is. We love you. We are plugged into you. We want to be filled with your Spirit, Lord, and the world can look at us and say whatever it wants to say. Lord, and they will. And they will, Lord. There's a war on. Lord, that we're going to win because we're under the blood of the Lamb. We give you all the glory and praise, Lord, in your name. Amen.